And I'm going to show people how to do this on the record. Share. Okay, so this is June 27th, 2019, Thursday's Hoof Chat. And what I'm going to show right here is how to upload your pictures. Okay, so once you register for on the Hoof forum, and you come in to, let's back all the way out here, you're here. Oh boy, just a minute. Well, this thing's just being funky on me. Here we go. We'll just do this. Okay, so you're here at the forum. You go down to right here, TAC team class registration, hoof pictures and story, go here. Click on that. Okay, over here it says new topic. You open yourself up a topic, put your name, Linda, and we'll put test, whatever, Linda test, there we go. And so you come in here and you write your story. Then you come down to the bottom here where it says attach files. And then you attach as many files as you want. Okay, and open. And see, it puts them all right there. Now you don't want to insert them. See where it says insert line? Don't do that. Instead, okay, you write your story. Okay, you write your story, and then you just post new topic. You don't insert any of these. You just, because otherwise there'll be big old pictures, hard to deal with, and then you just post it like that, and it comes up like this, and then people can see them. And see, I like this because then I can look at the kind of a whole view of a bunch of pictures of the hoof, and then if I want to see it bigger, I can do that and go through it like that. Now that's great. Thanks for showing me that, Marilyn.
No problem.
I didn't know that. I was always insert them in line before, but before when I did it, they were smaller pictures. And now they've messed with it and done something so that they're all big pictures now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been doing it wrong.
Well,
I
didn't know. Nothing to be sorry about. Now we know, and now it'll be easier. That makes it a lot easier.
Sure.
You know? So, okay. Well, all right. So, Keara, did you want to load some pictures? Did you load some pictures yet?
Yeah, I'm busy doing that now.
Okay. Okay, and I want to look. I wanted to look at your one horse's feet, Valerie, that you got shod. Okay, because we were going to look at those feet because of the fact that I turned into a wuss and I didn't have you deal with the toe. You know, which.
You know,
that probably would have made him sore anyway, but I want people to know what that looks like, how it was on my horse, how it was on your horse, and that toe gets out there and then just nothing happens because that toe keeps sticking out there with that, what did you call it? With that sole in the toe.
Toe callus or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, a toe callus growing clear out, you know, way too far ahead. And so here's the deal you were doing though. You were working on the pillars, but the toe was stuck right where it was. So the pillars aren't going to move.
Yeah.
You know, and so I really don't feel like I advised you quite correctly in that whole thing.
That's okay.
But, you know, I don't like it. I don't want people to make their horses sore.
No, sure.
you know, and stuff like that. So then I get kind of I can get a little wishy-washy myself sometimes.
Well,
So
it's a complicated subject. It's hard for you to help everybody.
it can be, yes.
He's a complicated horse, so it's okay. No worries.
I do the same thing. I go back and forth
Yeah.
Yeah,
until I figure out what works best for my horse, you know?
yeah, yeah. Okay,
I
hold
know,
on a
too.
second. I'm gonna go get me some water.
Sure. I just want to see what this farrier can do and go from there.
The one thing that I've noticed in the last few days since your post was if I go ahead and like make sure my toes not longer than my heels, if that makes any sense,
Yeah.
my pasterns start standing up better.
Okay.
So I've taken my toe down a little bit, you know, and so I'm taking my pictures and I'm watching, but I'm just letting you know that that's something that I've been going back and forth on.
Sure.
And
Well, I think with Leo, you know, no matter how much you bring the toe in, it pretty much set the way his feet were, it set him on his soles. And, you know, we needed
you have to definitely be careful there.
we needed the shoes just to help that process, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my horse is not the same as yours, you know.
Yeah, of course. And I think the biggest problem is his left foot has a coffin bone remodeling or whatever you call it.
There's a
It's not,
ski tip.
yeah, it's not normal.
See, but the reason he has a ski tip is because that sole is stretched out like that. And so that's what I want everyone to understand tonight. That's the anatomy we're going to look at. So we're going to do that first. We're going to have a lesson in anatomy on what I would call that form-fitted ridge of sole that grows from the perimeter of the foot.
He's had that ski tip since I started out, and when I've started out with problems, of course he had a little bit of a long toe, but it's been x-rayed a few times throughout
Yeah.
the process and not changed at all.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. See,
Yeah,
like, okay, he's got a ski tip. Why?
Yeah. Well, the
Why?
vet says
Can
he's
you tell
born
me
with
why?
it. The vet says he's born with it, but I don't know.
No, vet don't know his butt from hole and ground.
It's the pressure. It's
You
that
know?
low angle and skin pressure.
Sorry, but they don't. Just
Well,
like who's that vet? Susanna Donnelly, Martinez Donnelly. Okay, she got all her horse's feet are rotated, and the vet's telling her horses aren't rotated. And the reason a vet says that because vet don't know why the foot is like that. But by the end of the day, you're going to know why the foot is like that and why it is so vital to get a form-fitted sole around the perimeter of this foot. Okay?
Mhm.
Okay, because that's what this is about. This understanding why.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
Leo had lameness kind of off and on. I didn't notice it early on. I looked back at videos from when I was training him and stuff,
yeah.
and it may have been an issue for a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
And now once he's full grown, I mean, this was 3 years ago. Once he got full grown, that's when it was really obvious he had a problem, you know.
Yeah. Well, his feet aren't right, period. So, yeah,
No,
he's
I
going to
know.
have a problem. But it
Yeah.
isn't necessarily because of that ski tip in the toe.
Okay.
You know, it's because of kind of everything combined on the foot together
Yeah.
and stuff. So, okay, I'm going to explain to you why horses get that ski tip on the toe. So, we're going to go to Facebook and look at your pictures and then get my pictures. And look at your, let's see.
Might be the mentor page.
Boy, look at that. That's pretty. Okay. We're going to look at your x-rays. Then we're going to look at mine that were taken, it was like 2011 or something like 2000, between 9 and 11, somewhere around there. Okay. Let's go over here. Valerie. Valerie. No. Oh, that's Valerie, not Valerie, but I was just thinking of that. Okay. Da-da-da. Is this the one with the x-rays? No.
Yeah, it is. I think it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
Just when I got the shoes. It's just in the comments section, probably.
Okay.
And in a few weeks here, he's going to set those back further and bevel the toe a little bit more.
That's good. That'll be good. Okay.
4 weeks on the first.
There we see that. I'm gonna download these.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Options. Okay, so I can enlarge them.
Yeah.
Download.
That's the right.
See, that one's,
Yeah, that was normal. And I
yeah.
could tell by the way his foot usually progressed and it got more concave.
Mm-hmm.
I had a feeling that one was normal. That's why I had it x-rayed. It just confirmed my thoughts of what the coffin bone was like.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Even though
Okay,
I
so
didn't like the one.
which foot was that has the ski tip? Is it this one or the other one?
It's his left. Yeah, it's this one.
This one here?
Yep,
Okay,
that
let's
one.
download this too. Okay, and then I'm gonna
That's
see
the
if I
only
can
picture I
find
took with the shoes on.
mine. Valor X-ray. Valor X-ray. There we go. Okay. Open with. Why do these horses get ski tips?
Yeah.
See? Valor has it too. See there?
Yeah, little one.
Okay. Just a minute here. I'm going to go find you and open you, and we're going to compare. Paint. Let's see. Sometimes I get a little spaced out and forget where I'm going here.
That's okay.
It's all this pressure.
Mhm.
Okay, computer. There we go. And go over here. We'll go there. We'll go there. We'll go over here to downloads. To there. Let it fill up. Go down here. I think that's okay. There's that. Was it? Which one? Let's see.
The left one is the, not that, there you go, that one.
This one, right?
Yeah, that's the left one.
Okay. Alrighty then.
I think I've compared that with the 2016 picture. Curious if that ski tip is worse or better.
Do you have the 2016 ones?
Yeah, I thought it might be in the comments on that Facebook thing.
Okay, we'll go look here in a minute. Okay, there's
I would
values.
I would have made a new post and everything if I'd have thought about that we might talk about this.
Okay, so he had ski tips on both. See there?
Yeah.
So that's his left.
Yeah.
This one was worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess people need to know what a normal coffin bone looks like. So we're going to get a picture of that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his right one was pretty normal.
Huh?
His right one was pretty normal.
Was it?
Yeah, I think.
Let's see.
It's in your downloads file. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
It's still got some wear right here.
Maybe. Yeah.
See, it hasn't got the ski tip right here,
Yeah.
but it's still flat,
Sure.
kind of flattened out here. I'll show you a pristine coffin bone.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to find them in domestic horses very often.
No.
But this one is pristine, so we'll look at it.
Yeah.
See, your vet don't even know the horse has a foot on the inside of there. He thinks it's just like this. See?
Yeah.
Capsule with a bone and parts.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know there's a foot. See? Do you understand what I'm saying
Yeah, I understand.
by that?
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay. See that, the tip of that
Mm-hmm.
bone there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, the little pony coffin bone I have has a ski tip on it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I talk to my friends and I have it around, I'll say, see this?
Ha. Okay. Come on up here. Okay, how come you're not moving? Wait a minute. What the heck? Okay, there. Now, can you see the comparison?
Yeah, okay.
You see, it's not just a matter of a little ski tip being there. It's that the whole bottom is worn away
Okay. Sure.
differently. See?
Mm-hmm.
This would be perfect. And look at the angles different too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing I really want you to look at here is this shadow area here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See that?
Yep.
Okay, now look at the shadow area here. The difference.
Yeah. I know that the quality changes each time it's downloaded and things, so.
Well,
you know,
that's not it. That's not, no. Okay, I'm trying to show you something here.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, it has nothing to do with the quality of the picture.
What is that shadow?
Okay, that shadow, this is the lamina right here. This part of the shadow is the lamina, and this is the sole corium right here. See, Valerie, it doesn't have anything to do with quality of the picture. I'm trying to show you what's in the x-ray. Okay, this is the lamina. You got the sensitive lamina and then the insensitive lamina that are joined together right here. And then right here, where the sole corium starts, you have, this is the sole corium right here from which the sole grows.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, let's look at let's see. Elemental PQRS. See, the rim of these feet, the sole corium, lips up over the edge of the foot. And it grows. Now, you know how a coffin bone, it's got sharp edges, right? If you don't have the sole corium on it, you just have a bone, it's got a sharp edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does everybody know what I mean by that? You ever seen people, does everybody know what a coffin bone looks like?
Yep.
Okay, you know, if you just have a coffin bone out of a dead horse that's all dried out, that bone has a very sharp edge to it, right?
Yeah.
On the bottom?
Sure.
Okay, but when it's got the sole corium on, the sole corium is in and of itself a type of cartilage almost, like a Dr. Scholl's gel pad. All right, and that sole corium lips up over the edge of the rim of that bone. Let's see here. Let me find LMNOPQRS sole. Let me find picture. Okay, well, we'll use this one.
Linda, I want to borrow your computer so I can study all those photos. They all look very, very interesting.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just post them all on somewhere in an album or something. Okay. Okay,
Right.
so you see, here's the foot. You see the foot here? The sole corium, it lips up around the top of the foot. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, look here. See this right here? Okay, you see how the lamina, that shadow you're seeing, that's right in here. You're seeing the sole corium here,
Yeah.
and you're seeing the lamina. That's what you're seeing in that shadow.
Okay.
Okay, who's messing around?
Mhm.
Who's playing around? Don't you see all the lines that just showed up on the screen?
Huh, I don't know.
Can't you see those red lines?
I do. It's a
see
spook.
that, but
Somebody's playing. That's what's going on. Somebody's playing. Oh, I wonder what this button's for. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay,
Not me.
not me. Everybody's going,
Not
no,
me.
not guilty. Okay, so here again is the inner foot, and there's the lamina, and here's the lamina, and here's the sole corium, right here. And so around the whole bottom of this foot is this
Yeah.
sole corium here,
Okay.
and it's like this. Do you see that? Let me see.
Mhm.
Annotate. Let's just do pink. Okay. So because this sole corium, okay, now I'm always saying the sole is not concave. They always try and make you think that the sole is just concave. If you have good concavity, that's the big deal, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But the sole is not concave. The sole is crescentric. Crescentric means that it is both convex and concave. Okay? So around the rim, now the rim of the coffin bone's in here. That's where you got that ski tip, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
rim of the coffin bone is very sharp, but it is covered with this soft Dr. Scholl gel sole corium
Mhm.
here. And it's a thickness. It's pretty thick.
Yeah.
And so is the lamina, really. That's what this shadow is that you see.
Mhm.
Okay? So this sole corium is not just on the very bottom underneath of the foot here. Just under here.
Yeah.
It lips up over the outer edge. See that?
Yep.
It's up on the outer edge here.
Mm-hmm.
Just a minute. So it grows the sole right here to fit the perimeter and the edge of the coffin bone, so that the edge of the coffin bone is nestled in this form-fitting ridge of sole, so that the coffin bone won't wear out.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Well, what happens then when the toe stretches forward and this form-fitting, oh God, what would you call it? Little coffin, I guess, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this form-fitting rim of sole gets stretched out flat, and so the bone is sitting on instead of like this, see, you know, that form-fitting.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's nestled so that, and it fits in a certain way with the wall coming down this way, and then the sole, and it nestles the rim of this bone in its own form-fitting sole, so that the edges of the bone never hit anything flat. They're always perfectly protected in this form-fitted sole here. But when the toe gets too long, instead of having form-fitting here, the toe stretches out and you have this. And then the edge of the bone is sitting on a flat surface. Okay, so what happens when the edge of the bone is no longer in its form-fitted, protected covering of sole, and it's sitting on a flat surface? What happens?
It doesn't grow sole very well.
It chips away.
It chips away, it wears away, it flattens, it distorts, it deforms, it demineralizes, it creates a ski tip.
Yeah, sure.
Understand?
Yeah.
So that is why, let's see here, clear. That is why, we'll go back here just a minute. Okay, we'll look at my horse. Okay, look at this horse. Look at that form-fitted, look, you can see the bone, right?
Yeah.
See the bone where the white is? But the bone is not setting on anything flat, is it? See, this is sole corium. This is not this black part here. That's not sole. That's sole corium. That's this soft cushiony stuff here.
Yeah.
See? And this is lamina down to about here.
Yeah.
But then all around the tip of this bone is sole corium. And then the sole doesn't start growing to right here.
Yeah.
See? So this edge of this bone, which goes around the whole perimeter, well, not the whole, because, you know, right here is where the coffin bone ends, and then all of this is cartilage back here in the heel. Okay? But this cushions, and then the sole grows here, and so that bone is never setting on a flat surface.
It's like it's in its own little sleeve that protects it.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
You know, and so, let's see here. And so, now let's look at this. What's going on here? See, here again, here's the lamina, okay? The sole corium, the wall is out here. Remember, you know how I say the wall is a retaining wall for the sole, see? And so, let me get just a minute. Okay, annotate.
Of course, the x-rays before we shoot.
Okay, so ideally, the wall, okay, look here. Here's where the wall is, and this sole, the sole corium is up here.
Yeah.
Okay, and the bone is setting on what right here? Flat what?
Full, wouldn't it?
Yeah, flat sole.
Yeah.
See, it's not setting nestled correctly in this area here. Now here, I'll draw the sole. Just a minute here. Okay. Okay. Probably goes kind of like this. There's the sole.
Yeah.
See? Okay, this area here, this is the sole and the toe isn't even under the toe.
Sure.
It's clear up here.
I know, and I
See?
knew the toes were long. I just was making them sore enough and wanted to go to the vet about it.
What you did is fine. I'm not saying anything one way or the other. I'm just showing you why your horse is not correct and why he has that ski tip and why I was wrong in not telling you from the get-go to work on this toe and why we were wrong in telling you to work on the pillars. Because if the toe is not brought back correctly, like first of all, if you have a big chunk of sole right here, okay, you have to take some of that out so that this wall
can grow down.
will want to move. Well, I'll tell you what would happen. You see, okay, you see how the space is longer here than it is here? That's because you got stretching in the lamina here from the toe wall. Okay? And so what would have happened if, we would have told you to bring the toe back correctly instead of the pillars, this is partially our fault for not advising you correctly.
It's okay.
And some of that is fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, I don't want to tell the wrong thing. And, I hate to tell you this, but sometimes I get into I'd like to go put my head in the sand. You understand?
Yeah.
I
had been keeping his toes in pretty good before that, just like every 4 weeks.
And I mean, he needs, I don't know one way or another. I'm just going to tell you what I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is clear out here. So if, because of this stretching in here that I see, okay, and the sole here, okay, what you'd have had to do is come up here and scribe out the sole.
Yeah.
Clear up into here.
Yeah.
See? And then bring the toe back. Take that sole out. And then bring the toe back.
Yep.
At least to here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I know I wanted to do that, but
I know. I know. It was just we all missed the boat. I missed the boat for you. I blame myself. So, and so anyway, if that would have happened, okay, it probably would have been tender. All right. But look, this is in the wrong spot anyway. Okay. This is supposed to be, just a minute here. This is supposed to be under here.
Yeah, I know.
See?
Well, the whole coffin bone could be upright more on the heels.
Well, yeah, but see, if this came back, it would push that back a little bit.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah, I know.
As the heels grow.
That's what the farrier's working on,
Yeah.
We just gave him a shoe to pat him in the meantime.
Yeah, but see, if we wind up just leaving sole in a
Yeah.
toe like this, then the wall can never come back, you know.
Yeah.
And so what see, this happened, you know, I showed you Valor's foot, you know,
Yeah.
I cut off an inch straight across. I just went, okay, I'm going to believe what I'm seeing, and I'm taking this off. Snap. And it never affected him at all,
That's good.
you know, and stuff. But see, even this would make a horse sore. What's going on right here? This,
Yeah.
all this would make a horse sore.
Yeah.
And so, just a minute here. Okay. All right. So if we, well, no, that would be about like that. And then wall thickness, that's the wall thickness there. Because remember, this is sole corium in here and stuff. Then if your wall come back like that and the sole and the toe came back here, then that's going to push this bone, and eventually it's going to nestle that back in some sole that's, you know, cushioning that toe. You know, that's what I did eventually for my horse anyway. So anyway, but the point I want people to see is why we get these ski tips, because the toes stretch out, and then the horse is on flat sole, and then you get a ski tip, you know. And so if the wall is way out there and you got, you know, you're going to have to do something to get that all coming back in. But here's the deal, you know, we had Valerie working on pillars. Okay, how's that pillar supposed to come back if you're not taking the toe back?
Yep.
Right? So I think we all kind of messed up there. But anyway.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, this last 2 weeks, you know, since Lacey Lynn talked about the scoop, I went ahead and I had the left front foot to the horse that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
It just went got really long, like he's, you know, I don't know what you want to say. Anyway, it just started getting real long. It's like, okay, you know, this is, you know, I'm going to have rotation here if I don't do something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went ahead and I scooped it. And because he won't stand on the other foot to let me have that one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So now that one's going bad. That's what's happening. All right. So I scooped it. And then the last 2 weeks, just today, I went to look at it again. And all he would do is let me have it for, you know, a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I got enough. I started scribing out the toe, and then I got a picture, and that was about it. And he's like, nope, that's enough. But the toe wall had moved out. I mean, the sole and all the rest of the hoof, I guess, moved up.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sole wall on the toe was like over a half inch long, like 3/4. I'm thinking, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Because they ain't been growing wall, okay?
Yeah.
Because that don't happen, because I got it cut off before they can get wall out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, okay, that must have been what happened. That scoop must have allowed that foot to pull up back into place. I have no clue.
Huh.
Anyway, I just wanted to ask you about it.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know. Sounds interesting, though.
Yeah, post those 2 pictures. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw them on the Minter page.
Okay, then maybe I'll be able to say something, but otherwise I don't.
Okay.
You know.
So, Linda, can I say something too, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Mary here. So looking at this ski tip here, obviously the whole coffin bone is far too flat.
Yeah.
And we know that by taking the toe back, it'll actually push the coffin bone back. So we're using that to help us to get the coffin bone into the right angle and lift the back of it up slightly.
Yeah.
So that's right, isn't it? Thinking like that. And if it was already rotated, then you wouldn't touch that toe at all. But this one isn't rotated, it's flat, and we need to rotate it slightly so we bring the toe back so it'll push it all back into its
Yeah.
right angle.
Yeah, well, and this isn't a laminar wedge. I think this is just stretched lamina. It hasn't turned into a laminar wedge
Mm-mm.
All right, okay.
or anything, you know. The sole is just out there not doing what it should, you know.
Yeah,
It
okay.
should be under here,
Yeah,
at least right
Yeah.
here
sure.
and stuff. So hopefully that farrier will help you with that, you
Yeah,
know.
I think
And
so.
putting shoes on him, you know, how's he doing?
He's doing good. He rode really well day before yesterday. I was galloping on him and stuff in my arena between cones not spaced too far apart. We haven't been able to do that in a long time, or at least I was afraid to because I
Yeah,
was poor. But
yeah.
and then last night my kids rode him. I rode him first, and he wasn't as willing to gallop. But I'm starting to think it was a different saddle. So
Uh-huh.
maybe my kids, I know my kid's saddle don't fit him good.
Yeah.
We need to find another one. But
Well, you know, his feet still aren't right.
yeah, I know.
You know, I mean,
He
he's
felt pretty good the day
got
before.
a ground parallel coffin
Yeah.
bone.
I know, and the shoes you put on should help that a little bit.
You know, why are they hiring back?
I think there's a little bit of a knob in the back on the shoe.
Yeah. And the thing about it is when they have a ground parallel coffin bone, then when they take a step, it probably goes negative,
Yeah, it goes on there, yeah.
you know, goes like
Yeah,
that
he was cool.
and stuff.
I think I'd be fairly careful doing hard and fast work with him at the moment, like
Yeah.
even if it's just a couple of seconds, because you could easily blow that tendon.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't be doing too much cantering at all, actually.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because I
A
mean,
little bit.
Probably in soft sand.
Yeah.
you know, yeah, because his, you know, he's got, you know, you're kind of afraid of DSLD,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, and the thing about it is with the long toe,
Yeah.
he's still got that long toe, even though he might have taken it back a little, you know,
Yeah.
like probably, what do you think he took off? Maybe this much? Maybe.
Yeah, I think he was being easy on him, and then he'll do more here in would be 2 weeks now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got that long toe, and then ground parallel to negative coffin bone in the back anyway,
Yeah.
you know, so that's going to be really hard on his tendons and
Yeah.
stuff.
So the only reason I was galloping him a little bit between my cones, I was just trying to get him more practice in the canter because
Yeah.
the kids tried to do a little bit in the fun show and they tried to canter, but Leo himself is not real experienced at the canter, you know,
Uh-huh.
turns and stuff. They did fine, they did their best, but
Yeah.
if that's gonna affect him,
the more weight
yeah,
You know, you got some
the
people. Oh,
the
go
more
ahead.
weight he has on the sorry. I was going to say the more weight he has on the front feet,
yeah,
the less you could be cantering or galloping him because it'll put an awful lot of strain on those tendons.
sure,
So it's very important to try and keep him slow and, if anything, in a more
Yeah.
collected thing.
yeah. I'll just have to tell my kids I can't afford to do much fun shows, so probably be only about one fun show in a month or two.
Yeah.
They can just walk trot. They're not real good yet at controlling them anyway.
Yeah, you know, it is a drag because you
Yeah, I
wanna,
would give you a break.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
sure.
because you wanna, you know, you're ready to ride, you know, and them kids are ready to learn, and I mean, you're all this stuff, but then you're having to deal with this,
I know.
you know, and it would be great if you could just throw a pair of shoes on and all right, it's fixed, you know, maybe not
Yeah.
fixed, but holding everything together,
Band-Aid, yeah.
you know. But from what I see of, let's see, let me go back.
You know, I allowed somebody to keep their horse in my barn because he had tore his tendon cut it, and it was awful. So, and the horse never got well enough to ride again. So, you know, that's one thing you just don't want to do.
Yeah,
Push
and,
too far.
and to me, this looks stressed.
Oh, I know.
That is stress. That's a suspensory, and it's all the pasturins are already going down too far. out of their normal range, and to trot and to lope, you're just putting extra strain on him, and he's going to hurt himself, and
He'd
then
be better off not
y'all are going to be
trying anyway
sad.
Yeah, and he's already hurting if
the
he's
moment.
not wanting to canter.
Yeah, yesterday he was.
You know, because horses know how to run.
Sure.
You know, it's how to slow down.
Yeah.
I've always had the problem with
Yeah.
and stuff. So, on the one hand, I totally understand where you're at because you guys, your kids are ready to learn to ride. I mean, all this stuff, and you're having to deal with a horse whose feet are not right and who is not
Yeah.
sound enough for some of the stuff you would like to be doing.
Yeah, I know. I was
It's frustrating.
hoping to have it fixed about 2 years ago.
Yeah, but
If they
you know what?
fix it.
Sometimes you just gotta sacrifice a little bit, and I bet you by next year
Yeah,
he'll be a lot better.
probably. Hopefully.
And stuff. But then that guy taking these walls back too, you don't want him dressing down these walls.
Yeah.
Did he
didn't
do
do
that?
too bad.
It kind of looks like he did a little.
A little bit towards the bottom, but yeah. Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, they do look a little like that's a little bit thicker, doesn't it?
Maybe, I don't remember.
You know.
They're pretty thick shoes anyway.
See now, if that was really like that, like
That's
okay,
a
like
rock
that
in the
shoe,
room.
that you know what that picture looks like? It looks like when I look at that picture. Just a minute, where is it? Hey, when I look at that picture, it looks like the shoe ends
I
right
know.
there.
I think
But
it's
it's a
rock.
rock. It's a
Yeah.
rock.
I should have moved that rock. I didn't see it.
There's a rock there
Yep,
and
I know.
stuff. And first time I saw him, I went, wow, he sure set that shoe back, but by George, almost, that'd be good.
Well, he is planning on doing something like that next time. He just didn't want to do it too
I
quick.
know.
Yeah, because he was so far forward.
Yeah, he is pretty far forward. But you just need to make sure he don't totally dress down that toe because that's what those farriers usually do.
He used,
And then that'll weaken the hoof capsule,
I know, I understand.
and
Well,
stuff.
he used some kind of a sander to fine sand the very surface, but
Oh my God.
I know that probably doesn't need to be done.
Telling me you don't need to be doing that either.
Yeah.
That's periopal. That's the best covering your horse could have over his hoof is that periopal. These farriers got that sander and they think they're doing a fine dandy job, but they're taking off nature's own covering, that periopal. Okay, like the periopal skin that's up here, as the hoof grows down, it covers it with a very thin sheet of that periopal, and that periopal it keeps moisture in and moisture out.
Yeah.
See, but then these farriers come over here with their big old sander. Was it round?
Yeah, round.
Oh my God. Okay, they come over here and zippy zoom and think they're doing such a hot job. Okay, and they're taking off the natural covering. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
I would tell him if I were you, no, I don't want that.
Okay.
Because see this sheen, that covering there, that's the best thing you can have.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I get really aggravated when I see him jerk that stupid thing out. Whatever moron come up with that idea. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
I did a really big study on periopal, and this covering is the hardest of all. Okay, it's just like if you put remember hard as nails? Hard as nails, that nail polish that you could get for your
Sally
nails.
Hansen, hard as nails. Great
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, this is the natural hard as nails.
Yeah.
the covering that comes like a sheet over the foot, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff. So I wondered about that. I was looking at that. I didn't even think of that. I thought, boy, what do you do? Take a rasp and just kind of rasp off the whole surface, or what?
Mm,
You know, these guys, they don't know. You know, they go to these schools and they see another farrier with some big, you know, roundy, raspy thing, and they think that's a good idea, because to them it's all about, they treat this thing almost like it's a block of wood,
yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Linda,
Yeah.
another thought for people to view this treatment of removing all that external outer hoof wall like that with a sander, making it unshiny and
Yeah.
blending it all in,
Yeah.
is think about it from the girl's perspective for those who've gone out and had their nails done. If
Yeah.
you get those acrylic nails put on your nails time and time again,
Yeah.
you end up pretty much ruining the top of your own nails, and it's really hard for your nails to recover after those.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and think about it. Let's say you had this done every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, every six, how a horse's foot only grows what? That much,
Yeah.
you know? But every 6 weeks, he's taking that buffer
Yeah.
and buffing that wall, so it's getting thinner. It ain't that thick to begin with. It's
Yeah.
getting thinner and thinner and weaker, and taking away all the, you know, as you get in, it gets softer, because, you know, it's layers. It's got, you know, what they call the stratum externum, which is the hardest, most torn tubules, pigmented, even this, you know, and then it gets whiter as it goes in and softer, you know. So he's taken all that hard external off, and then the feet start bulging.
Yeah. Well, I can't afford it very long, and he's wanting to help me even learn to shoe a little bit. So
There you go. I think that's great.
then well, right now he's recovering from some injury to his hand, and
Oh,
so
probably from his rasp, from his
I don't know. I
buffer.
think the horse got
I
kicked
know,
at
I'm
him or
just
something.
kidding. I'm
But
just
so
kidding.
he's kind of taking it easy, not, you know, just doing good horses, and mine
Yeah.
happens to be good. So
Okay. Well, I'm not being critical of you
Yeah.
or
I
anything. You
know it's
understand
okay.
that?
Yeah, I understand.
You're making the best decisions you can to try and keep this horse
Yeah.
going and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not being critical of you. I'm just trying to explain to you,
Sure.
you know, why the horse has a ski tip. How
Yeah.
probably gave you the wrong advice and didn't have you, didn't have you take the toe back maybe like you should have,
Yeah, it's okay.
you know, because we're all leery.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes it's best just to go ahead and bite the bullet and take the toe back and give the horse a couple weeks off.
Sure.
See?
Yeah.
And stuff. And, you know, it's hard when you're trying to ride the horse and
Yeah.
trying
Well,
to correct
this
the
is nothing
feet,
new.
and
This is nothing new. He's always had this issue.
yeah.
So
Well, doesn't mean he's got to always have it, though.
I hope not. But
Because
we'll see.
once that coffin bone gets kicked back that way,
Yeah.
okay, that's going to help his bony alignment
Mhm.
quite a bit. Once if you can get it more elevation to the coffin bone naturally by the hoof correcting. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
And the shoes will help with that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
I just didn't before when I did shoes in 2016 when this all started. It was a young gal. I don't think she really knew what she was doing, and so this time I was more picky about. I asked on saddle club pages, you know, someone who really knows what they're doing, a really experienced farrier, and you know, and then this guy was willing to meet me at the vet. So the vet
Yeah.
said, "We'll get you fixed up." So
Yeah. Well, see, and that's great. And so, you know, I don't mean to
yeah,
you know, belittle him or anything like that. This buffing thing has always been a pet peeve of mine.
yeah, I know.
And sorry, I'm sorry.
Well,
And I think he's a really great guy for the way he's helping you. and how he's going to teach you the shoes.
Well,
know?
he didn't rest the whole wall down like I
Yeah.
think that's what my other farrier would have done in the past, and that,
Yeah.
yeah,
You just
so,
kind of buffed it up a bit, and they're taught that to make it look nice, to
yeah,
make the
yeah.
customer think, oh, that's so
He
nice.
beveled it back and and then kind of rounded it a tiny bit, but he didn't like rest the whole wall down.
Yeah, no. And so, I don't want to be overly critical or anything
No.
like that.
No.
Which is, I think it's really great that he wants to teach you some things and that he's trying to help you out.
Yeah. Well, it's worth it to me to tell him you don't need to worry about doing that. So
Yeah.
one less thing he has to do, he'll appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You gotta impress me by doing that. So
That's right.
yeah.
Okay.
Those are the vet, maybe who's showing off to other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now do people understand why it's important to get the dorsal wall back and get that sole correctly back under the toe and around the foot so that your coffin bone isn't continuing to wear out?
So that kind of means like when you do the toe, you bring it back to the white line and then round it off?
Well, we always do. We should be doing the toe the same way. You should always be checking for the true apex of the frog and your measurement and bringing your toe back to the white line, and here's the thing. At least in my horse, his apex shifted 3 or 4 different times to where his whole foot has probably moved 3/4 of an inch.
Hey, Linda.
Yeah.
I did post those pictures from the last 2 weeks
Okay.
where my foot moved from the scoop.
Okay.
They're on Facebook mentor page.
Okay, I'll look at them here in a little bit, but I want to look at, just a minute here, Iara's horse.
Thank you. Yeah, I've posted on both the forum and on the Facebook group.
Okay.
Thanks.
We'll go to here. What time is it where you're at?
3:30 in the morning.
Oh, yes. Okay. See, I should have got to you first. See, I was just thinking about that.
No problem. I'm learning as we're going.
Man. Okay. Da, 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 da. Here we go. Oh, somebody else just put one up there too. Okay. I'm going to read your story here. It says, my horse, Liaison, is that his name?
Liaison? Yeah, Liaison, yeah.
Liaison. Oh, that's a cool name.
Thanks.
My horse, Liaison, was diagnosed with equine metabolic syndrome about a year ago, but I suspect he has had it for the past 5 to 7 years by looking at his weight, attitude, and hooves. I've been struggling with hectic thrush for over a year now, and I know a big contribution can be the EMS. If all the basics such as hoof grooming, stall being in good condition is done. But I was told by a farrier friend another major contributing factor can be the way his hooves are being trimmed, and that is absolutely true. Liaison's first owner put shoes on all 4 hooves at about the age of 4 because his hooves were apparently chipping and tearing too much. We decided to remove the shoes about 2 years after buying him because we believed it would be better and healthier for him. He has now been barefoot 3 years on the back hooves and 2.5 years on the front. Now I am trying to better my knowledge on hoof trimming so that if I need to trim or do Liaison's hooves, I can trim them correctly. Also, so that I actually know what I'm talking about or looking for when doing his hooves to make sure that he is supported and comfortable at all times. That's a great story. Okay.
Thank you.
You did good. Okay. I can tell you just by one quick glance that his heels are trimmed out, that his hoof capsule is too small for his real foot, because that's what happens when the heels are trimmed out, that he doesn't have a frog stay. Say, I would have to show you what that is. Okay, just that in and of itself can give them mechanical laminitis.
Okay.
And what we're seeing is that EMS gets produced by the feet being sore all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it can be the other way around too, but I can tell you that in this case, that his heels, see, it happens really easily. And especially with the way they're teaching barefoot trimming, by just always take the heels down and give the horse frog contact. Gradually, the hoof capsule gets trimmed out and the inner foot gets pulled down. Just a minute here. Just a second here. Okay. Okay. So every horse has a foot like this on the inside. That is a foot. It isn't just a bone and parts. And their foot is one size, just like your foot is a certain size. And so this capsule that grows from it must grow from it in a specific fashion, and be in alignment and grow in a certain way. And so when the heels are over trimmed, okay, it starts to pull this area down, which is attached right here, and it'll pull all this down and pull it forward and cram this foot into a smaller hoof capsule. And
okay,
what has happened? Okay, let me turn this around. Okay, you see this right here? This is what's called the frog stay. Okay, this grows from between the bulbs. It's about 2 inches long down to here. Your internal foot ends about here, and it should have about 1 inch of frog under it there. Let's see. Okay, so here's the foot. So when you trim these heels out, since this area here where that is attached to the coronary band up here, it starts to, this is all cartilage, fat, soft tissue. It's not bone. And it can be bent and compressed and squeezed together, like when a horse gets what's called contracted heels. Okay, when they get thrush really bad and this is eaten away, this frog stay, then these heels will contract together and it will squeeze. This would be called your bulb. It would squeeze these together. And then the hoof capsule would grow and keep it that way. Okay, so what's happened to your horse is that gradually over time, they've lowered the heels and lowered the heels and lowered the heels, and it's pulled. Well, you know what? Like if you grab a hold of your ear and pull it down, it doesn't want to stay there, does it? You know, it would start to burn, and as soon as you let go of your ear, what's it going to do? It's going to pop back up. Well, the whole time a person is trimming the heels out here and the capsule is being pulled down this way, just a minute, and it's pulling all this down, this is all wanting to pull back up. And a lot of times it does. See, and it changes the whole weight-bearing equilibrium between this capsule and that inner foot. And so it can produce what's called mechanical laminitis. Because see, that hoof capsule's attached that laminitis that's right there, or not laminitis, lamina it's called. And so it's like a fingernail being wrenched off your nail bed is what starts to go on. And so they have constant inflammation. And even if they're not limping, they'll have constant pain. Does anybody, have you ever had inflammation?
Yeah.
You know? You know what I'm talking about? How
Yes.
it's like not a sharp stabbing pain, but you just feel like, you know, your joints are on fire, or your feet, or, you know, like a fever in your
Yeah.
body.
Yes.
That's what they feel in their feet. And so
Wow.
since they live on their feet, it becomes highly stressful. You know,
Yeah.
like I can attest to that because I have a problem with inflammation sometimes. And when it doesn't clear up for a while, like the kind I have is I'll seem like I'm okay during the day, but then when I go to bed at night, I can wake up in the night, I feel like I'm on fire. You know, and it's really stressful. And so these horses get really stressed out. And then the stress can cause other issues. See, that's what, anyway, what seems to be happening here.
Okay. But I know the guy was saying because of the lack of concavity or something that he has, he had to pull the heels back or something like that. Otherwise, the toe chips and breaks off, and it puts too much pressure on the I think you call the dorsal wall or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he would get bulge lines. So then he pulled back the heel like that to avoid that. And yeah.
Yeah, that's what they say, you know, but they don't know what they're talking about. You know, we see everybody here has trimmed their own horses and been taught all of that. You know, we've been taught to lower these heels like that.
Yeah.
And it's crippled all of our horses. And it's an epidemic that's going on, but they always blame it on something else. See, they start blaming it on what the horse ate.
Yeah.
Different things like that. Next thing you know, you're soaking your hay, you're, you know, going through major stuff, when in reality, it's because they've been taking those heels back like that.
Okay.
You know, because every time you take those heels back like that, it takes the heel down too. I mean, at some point here, you're going to understand mechanically what I'm talking about when
Yeah.
you get to know this foot more. See, look at there. See, this is the inner foot. This is the heel on the inner foot, right there. Okay, so this heel has to have a certain configuration to fit this heel and to support the back of this foot.
Yes.
You know, and what they start doing is they start taking this down. Like the way I learned was that you should, first I learned you should bring the heels down and back to the base of the frog. Then I learned the Strasser method, but I wasn't told it was the Strasser method, which is this German vet that was involved in the natural hoof care thing that they call it, and barefoot trimming and all that. And she taught that you should bring the heels down right about here to this periopal flap. Okay.
Wow.
Now, what happens when you do that is that the way this hoof capsule is connected to this foot, it puts it all at a different angle. All at a different angle, which, and the effect is like it's the hoof capsule's pulling one way and the foot is pulling another way. See?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because what you're dealing with here are two objects. This is just a shell that's supposed to fit on this, and every horse has the same basic foot. Just like people have, we might have different size, and yeah, I know people have different problems with their feet and yada, but basically anatomically, we all have the same foot, right?
Yes.
Okay, so do horses. See, so you got like this foot. Now, every dissection I've ever done, horse had same foot on the inside of that capsule. But the reason, but they hardly ever take these hoof capsules off when they're studying them. They'd rather put them through a bread slicer. And that don't teach you nothing. Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. Just a minute, I'll be right back.
Linda, yours is muted.
She took a phone call.
That would help if I knew that. Sorry.
You're still muted, Linda.
Okay. Every horse has the same foot on the inside. Might be a different size. Might be a little different angle to the front of the wall. Might be a little bit different in width, but they have the same foot and they have the same needs for that foot. Well, this is a different horse. That other horse was my mare that I trimmed since 2000. When did I start? I can't remember if I started in 2005 or 2007 learning to trim. And I totally trimmed the feet out of her, but then I was able to pretty much mostly restore them before she died. And because this kind of trimming crippled my horse just like it has yours, I was driven to research and try and understand what was going on. And so at first, I studied all these people and blah, blah, blah and everything. And my horse just kept getting worse, horses. And so then I quit studying their stuff and I just started looking at the feet. See? And then finally in 2016, I came to realize that I was trimming the heels out of these horses, that we're all taught to trim the heels out of these horses, and that it was destroying them. Just a minute. See, this horse here has heel. This horse here, he was a domestic horse, but he was trimmed maybe 2-3 times his whole life. He was 9 years old. He was put down. He was blind. And his feet were perfect, almost like a wild horse. Well, they didn't look like that because he's raised on sod, but when I trimmed him, just took off the long hoof wall. See there, the foot, that's a foot. And the foot, just a minute here. Okay, oh, just a second. The foot, everybody, people look at this foot and like the hairline would be right here. And so we always just think of this part as the horse's foot. But in truth, if we're to take out the other bones here, the foot is all this part of the horse too. This whole thing is the horse's foot. See, and it is one unit. And they're all the same. And they have to have a certain amount of heel that grows from here. This is called the heel buttress. See, it's a big chunk of heel that grows up the back of the foot like that, and it stabilizes the whole hoof capsule. And they have to have a certain specific configuration to the back of this foot. You can't just, take these off and down any old way you want. But that's exactly what they do. And what happens is, because they don't understand the configuration of the back of this foot, they just start taking a little bit off, a little bit off, a little bit off, and all of this hoof capsule starts being bent down and going forward like this. Well, it's attached to this part of the foot, so it starts to bend all this foot. See, your foot is bone only to about here.
So how do you let the heel buttress and heel grow without it running away forward?
Well, first of all, you don't worry about it running away forward is what I found out.
Oh,
You know, because even if it runs away forward, after it gets a certain length, you're going to work with it and you're going to push it back. But it has to
right.
be a certain length for you to even push it back. You know, if it's only this long, you can't make it go back. See all these, this is composed of horn tubules that grow down like this, just like the 2x4s in a house, you know,
Yeah.
and they're connected and they each affect one another. And so if you've got a heel that's like this, okay, well then you're going to have other horn tubules that are like that too.
Yeah.
See, going like this. Well, what do? They push up this way. This is where you get cracks. Like you'll get a quarter crack because these all pushed up here and hit some that didn't move, and then the hoof cracks. And so
Okay.
a lot of times what happens though is all of them have gone forward like this. See?
Mm-hmm.
And so what you do is, and then these wind up getting real short. Well, you can still grow these, but you start taking these toes back in a certain way and you work with them. And what happens is these start kicking back, and then it hits into that one and kicks it back, hits into that one, kicks it back, and they'll get shorter and you bring them back into alignment where they're supposed to be. And then eventually they'll start kicking these back, and you're growing them heels, right? So you got something to kick back, and eventually these will kick into that. And what another thing will happen is all the back of this foot has to be released and come back up. So you're not just dealing with the hoof capsule, you're dealing with the internal anatomy of the back of this foot too. And so eventually you reverse engineer the whole thing.
Yeah.
See, just a minute here. And then another thing that happens is, wait a minute. I gotta undo this, just a minute. Okay, then this frog stay starts to grow in here too. See that thing there? That's a big old chunk of frog there. Let's see if, see that there's your frog corium, and you have to have this frog stay growing in there. And see if we look over here, see you haven't got anything in there.
Yeah.
See, and you haven't got any heel. And also another thing that happens when the heels are trimmed out, this bulb skin will be stretched down like this too. So let's just go through these pictures. Okay, right here you see, remember I told you this is also a part of your foot?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me show you a picture of my horse's foot. Gosh, got a fly after me. Pictures. So you can see what a cartilage is really supposed to look like. Okay, like that one is compressed. That's not what it's supposed to look like. Okay. See, a lot of this trim is first getting to understand what the true foot is, because if you don't know what the true foot is, you can't, put things together to trim to get it that way. Okay, you see here, the cartilage in the bulb back
Yeah.
here, how big it is.
Yes.
Okay, see, it didn't used to be that. All this used to be pulled down about this much shorter and
Wow.
wedged up into the foot. I'll show you. I'll post some pictures at some point here. Let me go back to, okay, see that? The difference?
Yeah, it's quite a big difference.
Yeah. See, and so, you know, that whole back of his foot, he doesn't have to walk on anymore because it's all been pulled under and crammed into a smaller shoe. It's kind of like, yeah, like foot binding. We compare it to Chinese foot binding.
Yeah.
And of course, that's why your walls won't be stable. They won't be stable because you got to have that big chunk of what you call heel buttress wall that grows back here that are like two pillars that stabilize that whole wall. And that combined with that big thick frog growing in between the bulbs, excuse me, that stabilizes the whole hoof capsule. Otherwise, you're getting rotation and yeah,
So,
see?
so do you think because we've been pulling it back so far, that could also have caused the flares on the side?
Yes, absolute.
Okay.
Because see back here, you got those wall pillars that are back here that stabilize the whole foot. Here, I'll show you just a minute here. Draw. Okay, so technically, should be at least like that.
And that won't also be affected by the fact that he's a heavier or bigger horse. It should be that way no matter what size he is, right?
Right. Yeah, he should have a nice, big, good foot. You know, and then this would be the frog stay right here. Frog stay growing clear up into here and frog. See how much more foot that would put on him?
Yeah, a lot.
You know, and of course this, his cartilages here would lift up. You know, this digital cushion would be pushed up where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna have to go out and feed. It's getting dark. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to put on a video of the back of the foot and the frog stay and how important it is.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Hi. Oh, wait a minute. Just a minute. Coral drawings. Yeah, I'm on a webinar. Okay, let's see here. Will you help me feed? I'm gonna, yeah, just a minute. Okay, hold on here a second. Okay. Let's see. DF. There we go. Let's see, stop. Sound. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you how the horse's suspension system works, how it has to have a Okay, this is 13 minutes, and I'm gonna go feed my horses and take a break. So I'm gonna put this on, and I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Okay, gals?
Okay, thank you.
Okie dokie.
A Frog's Day, and what happens is, okay, I'm going to show you how the horse's suspension system works, how it has to have a Frog's Day. And what happens is the heels get trimmed out of the foot, and it strips the Frog's Day out of the foot. This is the Frog's Day right here, what's between there. If you don't have it, your heels contract. Okay, now the digital cushion is right up above here. Goes from over in here, all across here, in the bulbs area. All right, and underneath the frog, it's frog shaped. Okay, now, you gotta have this frog stay here. So what you have is, you have your digital cushion, which cushions the bulb here, and right in here, it's up underneath the navicular bone and the deep digital flexor tendon, so that the deep digital flexor tendon and the navicular bone have a cushion. All right, now, what happens is, when the horse's pastern, descends, right here, when this descends between these two, it spreads the collateral cartilages here, and then it pushes down onto the frog stay, which then has to have a little bit of room to just go like that. See that? Just a little bit of room to go like that. That's why you got to have a little room for your frog to grow. And you got to have the right amount of heel height. Okay, so I'm gonna show you here. I'm not very strong, trying to press this down here. See? Now you see how that moves? Let's do it again. Ah. There we go. See how that descends and pushes that down? Okay, now see, the object is to grow your heels so that your frog corium has enough height to grow some frog. And what's been going on is that the heels have been being lowered so that the frog can have ground contact, because they totally misunderstand the wild horse's foot anatomically. And so they have looked at the exterior of that foot, and they have tried to mimic what it looks like without really understanding the anatomy of the internal foot. And then, you know, they just kind of make up their anatomy as they go along. What I'm showing you here, which I'll show you in some other videos, is a correct foot. Now, this foot, I trimmed the heels out of it for years, and she had no frog. Well, it looked like frog, but wasn't. She was down on her frog corium. I need to show you what a frog corium looks like. So hold on while I get another foot. That's water. Yeah, okay. Hold on, I'm getting me a slimy old foot here. I gotta dry off. Yep. Flies are liking me today. Yes, sir, these flies are liking me. Okay. Now, here you got 2 feet. I need something to hold this one foot up, I think. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it'll stay up. Okay, this foot here has no frog stay. Most barefoot trims trim the heels so low. See how the heels are just right on the ground there? Most barefoot trims trim the heels so low that it strips this frog stay right here out of the foot. Okay, you see how closed that is? Okay, if it was like this, just a minute. Hold still, little footy. Okay, if there was a frog stay in there, this would be wide, like that. Say, I'm having a hard time pulling it apart now. See that? That's, see, shaky old lady. See that? Frog stay would be growing from inside of there, and it would be pushed wide apart like that. Okay. Okay, without it, your horse is just on his bulbs. See that? On his bulbs. That's not the way the foot is supposed to be, but this is most barefoot horses. They just got a thin layer of sole in them heels and no frog stay. See? And so this descends onto the digital cushion and it just squashes the digital cushion. It was never meant to do that. That frog stay has to be there. Oh, wait a minute. See the difference? Descends onto the digital cushion, which is constantly pushing back up. Loads it under pressure right there. And then it hits the frog stay. And then they just kind of kiss the ground. Wait a minute, let's get a close-up. See, I all by myself here, finding it hard to demonstrate, but you get the idea. See the frog stay move down and push the ground? And as it does that, okay, it pushes these bulbs apart too. Okay, and so the back of this foot expands out just a hair so that when it hits the ground, it's open, and then it squeezes shut and lifts off. So it's like grabbing the ground, like tiger paw tires. I don't know if anybody ever remembers those. They grab the road, tiger paws they were called. Okay, so that's how the foot works. Again, okay, here's okay, I wish I could keep that up, but I can't. Look, okay, here's the pastern right here. There's your pastern. When your horse moves, this descends down like that. Okay, I can't do it very good, but this bone descends clear between this cartilage, clear down here to where it's just like that, and the ankle here can descend practically to the ground. Okay, so you can imagine then with this frog stay what the back of that foot does. See, but as I said, most barefoot horses got this going on. They haven't got a decent frog, and one thing can be mistaken for the other, and that's what's going on. Okay, so again, I can't do this very good. I'm just a kind of a weak old lady. But we'll get, let's see. You see, just me doing a little bit makes it go down. You see that? And yeah, okay, I got some cuts there, but guess what? That all stretches, and that's all under pressure. And so, oh man, I wish I could, just doing a little bit, you can see how it works. You know, if I was strong enough to make it really go down, you'd see those heels widen a bit, you know, as that frog is pushed down. You know, now with my finger, I can come in here, you know, and push it down. See it? That's how it's meant to work. To flatten out and come back up, push back up. See, that's why this thing has an arch in it right here. So it will maintain its shape. Okay, but what do we got over here? We got nothing. Nothing. And that's what most barefoot horses are on, and that's why they're lame. That's why they need boots. Got a new kind of boot, the Evo boot. And really what it does, I looked at the design of it, it gives the horse bulbs and heels to land on that have been trimmed out by barefoot trimming. Again, here's your typical barefoot trim. If you just put a little skin on that and a little hoof wall on the sides, there you go. Bulbs right on the ground, just crushing them, crushing them, crushing them. See that? See, no frog stay to hit. And then what happens is they just don't understand the anatomy. There's been so many mistakes, and the reason is because one piece of anatomy often looks like another. Just a minute, let me get something to break that camera up. I think I've done 12 minutes and I need to stop. Oh, we're at 11. Okay. Okay, you see the central sulcus of the frog corium here? Okay, when the heels are trimmed out and the frog stay is out, let me get back up a ways. Okay, I should shorten up that leg. See, you got a central sulcus here, but it's a frog that is very thick. It's grown right up in between those bulbs right there. See? Okay. And you got here a foot with no frog stay growing from inside there. And, so what happens is when you trim the heels out, and I'll say it again, it literally pulls the heels forward, the hoof capsule forward, and the coronary bend forward, and as it's doing so, it just peels the frog right out of this foot. And so then what people are looking at is just a frog corium with a little bit of frog on it, dry frog on it, and they think they're looking at the same thing as this right here, which is the central sulcus of the frog that is shaped similar to that. Only thing is, this thing, one way you can tell the difference is this is closed up at the end. And you'll see all these horses just got this big crease right here. There's nothing closing up the end because they ain't got no frog really. And so they're walking like this. See? They're walking like that. Crushing those bulbs when they're supposed to be up off the ground by about that much. With big thick frog staying there. So that when this goes down, you press it onto that frog stay, and then the frog stay presses to the ground. See there? The difference? Okay, that ought to do it.
Hey everybody, we're on our last one for the day and I just thought I'd show you my version of a barefoot trim. I'll let you look at the before first. This is a good footed horse, but that's at 5 weeks. I think it couldn't look much better, but that's the reason why I come with more of a heavy 45 than a lot of people do, because I think it brings a lot of strength to the foot. First thing is clean it out. I want to leave as much frog as possible, but you kind of have to manicure it a little bit so it'll clean itself out. So there's not a lot to take off, but I'm still gonna run a 45 around it. I found that leaving vertical depth is the secret to keeping them sound, so I don't want to come in here at all. I just want to keep this foot gathered as much as possible and the heels trimmed back. So I start my 45 here at that angle, and it goes all the way around the foot and blends in with a level heel. Double check the level. Unless it's a first timer, I always put it on the front stand, and that's because I have a little 45 now, like that. Now I'm going to come in and finish it off. So it should be very comfortable for you to run your hand around, no rough edges at all. There's no need for me to go up here and weaken the wall at all. It just, most of the time, unless there's a bad flare, I can do everything down there. Well, that's my version. Works for me. Let me know what you think about it. Check out my group, Ask the Farrier, if you have any questions on hoof care, and I'll see you next time.
Hello, my name is Alexa Cook, and my business is called AC Hoof Care, and I live in Rainier, Oregon. Today we have Viper. She is a 5.5-year-old quarter horse mare, and we are just doing a basic routine maintenance trim on her. She's my daughter's horse, and we've had her for about 1.5 years. Okay, what I'm looking for is I'm watching them walk, or any limps. Any unsoundnesses, if they're toed in or toed out. Okay, I start by picking out this foot and see what we have. Some people think you can hurt a horse's foot by doing this, but unless this frog here is diseased, then you're not going to hurt it just by picking out the foot. Okay. We're going to clean up some of this excess stuff with a what's called a hoof knife. And we can see here the amount of growth that's gone on. And I think she's between 6 and 8 weeks since her last trim. Okay, and we'll just continue cleaning up these bars. The bars here should end at the middle of the frog. And when the foot gets long, these tend to kind of grow wild.
Okay, who's it on now? Everybody there?
We're watching farriers. It's interesting.
Once the bars are taken away, we will take off this
Now it does
excess
ABC.
length
No, don't!
with the hoof nippers.
Oh no.
Don't, please! Stop! Okay, AC hoof care. Are we seeing if
least
she's
the
gonna
bars.
take the heels off?
Okay,
Yep. No heels on that horse.
She will because she didn't see.
Well, I wonder.
and I will look down the hoof like I was.
See, no heel at all. Well, there's a good example. Keara, of taking the heel right down to the bare nubbin.
Yeah.
Anyway, so did you in that video that was before? Sorry, I was a little bit later, but my neighbor came by while I was feeding on his horse, and had to chit chat for a little bit. He's a pretty cool guy, really. He's adopted 3 different wild horses at different times. And he's made something out of them. Actually, 4.
That's good.
You know, so many of them get adopted and nothing. They never turn into nothing, you know, and stuff. And because people don't know what they're doing when they get them. But he's gotten 4. Yeah, 4 of them, and made them into horses.
Wow.
Okay, so this was what was before. How to do a barefoot trim. That was
Hey
a
everybody,
farrier.
we're on our last one for the day, and
Did he
I just
trim
thought
the
I'd
heels
show
out?
you my version.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Huh. Okay. I'm going to show you how the so you see the importance now of the frog stay and of the heels being correct. See, you can't get a frog stay if you don't have heels, because it lifts the sole corium up off the ground. Let's turn this around. Okay, see, here's the heel, the internal heel. You got to have this much past it to even have any sole in the heel. See this distance here and then there. And so you've got to, here's the frog corium, which the corium is dermis, it's skin that grows the frog, just like this is the coronary band corium that grows the hoof wall. And then you have the periopic corium that grows this rubbery skin, the periopal band that goes all the way around the foot. And then you have the sole corium under here that grows the sole. And so all this has to be very specific back here to get all this growing right. And so if you trim the heels out clear down to here, it's going to crush these heels and push them forward. That's what happens. It crushes the heels and pushes them forward. But you've got to have enough heel under this heel of the horse. And see right here, you got a big, this what's called the Okay. Why am I having brain?
Heel buttress.
Thank you. Okay, heel buttress goes from here, and it's a big triangular chunk of wall that stabilizes all this. And then you add to that the frog that grows from the frog corium right here and up between the bulbs. This big heavy duty chunk of frog growing in there, okay, that all stabilizes the back of this foot, which then stabilizes that shell in the front of it, which is a wall. Because without that, without all this, that the front of that hoof capsule, which is just a shell, is not stable. And you figure, I don't know how many pounds, you know, what is it? Maybe somebody knows the mathematical formula of how many pounds per square inch on the bottom of this foot, coming down this leg into this foot and pushing out and down on this shell. You know, so it's designed just right. It has to be just right. It has to have heels, has to have all this just right in the back of the foot.
Yeah, I was always told, I'm sure you're going to correct me on this, but I was always told to be careful to make sure you get the frog as big as possible and don't make it small. Otherwise, it's going to kill off the frog or something like that. So that doesn't quite apply anymore, does it?
Well, see, we trim the frog a lot, you know, and keep it clean so it keeps growing. You know, yeah, you do want a nice frog, but the problem is they don't know what a good frog is. You know,
yeah.
Because you can't have a good frog without having good heel height. And then frog is just like anything else, you know, you want it to keep renewing because it's kind of a, well, you saw in that video, it's got to have a certain rubber consistency so that it has buoyancy, so that it has give, and I don't know, I'm looking for some other words that I can't find, but it's part of that suspension, you know, like a rubber tire. You know, when a rubber tire gets really old and hard, what's it do? It cracks. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have the spring, you know, and stuff. And so so we constantly renew and fresh up these frogs so they'll keep growing. Because otherwise what happens is they get petrified and then they quit growing and they lose their buoyancy, and it's more like a callus. And just like a callus can crack and then it gets up in your flesh, same things with the frog. You know, so part of a frog being healthy and not having thrush is that you do have a thick, healthy frog, and it's also you also keep it growing. It's got room to grow. See, that's part of the problem with a lot of these barefoot horses. There's no room for the frog to grow. And what you wind up having is just kind of a cornified covering over the frog corium. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're right in that, yeah, it'd be nice to have a thick frog, but a lot of them teach don't ever trim the frog.
Okay, so then I think that what the key is then to, even though the frog maybe looks smaller, it's growing deeper into the tissues and supporting it, right?
Yeah. Well, growing from the tissue.
Okay,
so
yeah.
It grows from the tissue in
Yes.
there and supports it. Let's see. Well, I must accidentally close that up, the deal off. Just a minute. What are you doing? Little baby. Okay. Okay. And see, you can't really grow very good sole either.
Yeah, we've always been struggling with that, but that makes sense now.
Yeah. Let me show you this one picture. Oh, maybe it's this one. Okay. This is not a foot that I dissected, but it's been a foot that's been an inspiration and a model. This was a wild horse's foot. Okay, but look at the heel buttress supporting the back of the foot back here. See?
Yeah, it's quite big.
Yeah, and so that big piece of heel buttress that grows right from the back of the foot supports the cartilage up in the air like that. Okay, again, when it's trimmed, over trimmed and trimmed out, all this just pulls down and under like that. So, but look, you would have to have, see, you're talking about structural engineering, you know, so this heel buttress grows to here. If I cut it right here, how could I ever have any sole under here?
Yeah.
See? And so what happens is they just trim, and what they don't realize is that as they do, this heel gets crushed like that, and all this gets pulled down and forward like so, and you can't have any sole. And it can even go concave and look like a good, maybe a good foot or something, but in reality it's not, because it's got to have that suspension back there and that support in the back of the foot.
Okay, so by leaving the heels to grow out a bit more, then the sole will also eventually grow down further with it, right? So the sole will even get thicker.
Yeah, the sole. And what happens is and eventually you get all your horn tubules lined up, because see, the horn tubule starts growing here, grows to here, connects with the sole, and then it supports and stabilizes the sole, which is softer, and they grow down to the ground like this. If your horn tubules are forward like this and displaced, then if it's connected here to a sow tubule, then it's going to flatten them out too, because see, your hoof wall will grow continually, but the sole will only grow a certain length, and then it will die and exfoliate. So you have to have this wall in specific places to support this sole, but you have to have the heel buttress and the heels correct as well, all that in alignment.
So in doing all of this, I guess it'll also fix his bars and everything, because I think his bars are also quite not there properly, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, they're kind of covered up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't even tell what's bar, and you can see how yellow the wall gets and hard.
Yeah.
That's because it's being assaulted, you know, and so it emits this exude, like a wound serum, into the sole, which we call laminar serum a lot of times, and it just helps solidify the whole foot. It's the horse trying to heal the wounding that's going on in the sole.
Oh wow.
Let's see. Okay.
So when you're trying to correct this, because I have horses that are like this, because this is how I was taught to trim, should we be casting them to try and encourage heel growth? Because if they run around on this heel, they're just going to continue to wear it down.
Some people are using casts. You know, one big problem is trimming too much. If you have really, looks like you have, what is that? Is that rock? or cement?
Yeah, that's tar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you do whatever you can to get your heels to grow. You can cast, you can shoe. We're not anti-shoers here. You know, if that's what you need.
Well, one of my horses is in shoes because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. And so what we do is you start growing. Now the heels, see, now the frog would fill in there. And then the frog would be like that. And that's about how much more foot the horse needs.
Wow.
See, we
Yeah,
just
that's a
don't.
lot.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm not going to go show you my horse's pictures right now, but I had him down to nothing. Just like that.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, I kept going to the vets and they kept telling me there's no sole depth. And I kept saying, this is what you're supposed to do. This is the barefoot trim.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I did it for so many years, you know, and I kept thinking that gravel crunching hoof was right around the next trim.
Right.
And it's funny too, because this thought started going through my head. No kidding. When I'd wake up in the morning, and it was something we've all heard. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You know, and so that's when I kind of started doing some different things with the heels, but not for the right reason at first, not until I learned about that chunk of wall called the heel buttress. But yeah, you wouldn't think somebody, you know, be trimming their horse for some years doing that trim and it never worked. You know, at first it seemed to work.
Well, there were people we thought were experts in the field and we knew nothing. So we went along with what they said.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, who would think? Okay, let me undo this. There's something I was going to show you. I can't remember what it was. We'll keep going here.
Yeah, the hoofs look good from a barefoot trimmer standpoint, but we need to adjust that because the horse is not sound, right?
Yeah. Yeah, my horse was never sound. Not, you know, I mean, he was sound on really soft ground. You'll hear him say that. Sound on sod, sound on soft ground. That's not sound, you know. And
Well,
I didn't really realize how bad it really was. I mean, none of us did.
nope, not until they break a bone because there's too much pressure and no sole.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you a picture. Now, see, I've got pictures from 2005 of two of my horses. The one mare that died, I've got all the pictures of me trimming her feet out and then restoring them. And then my gilding every single month, except during 2015 when I gave up and quit.
How do you keep the feet from chipping out and cracking off and all of the quarters ripping out? Is it just when you're trying to grow the heel? How do you keep everything so it'll stay on there?
Well, it will stay on there. And if stuff chips out, let it chip out. Don't worry about it. You know, if the horse chips something out, it's not that big a deal. You know, people worry too much about chipping and stuff like that. See, they want it all to look just picture perfect, but the best thing I did was give up and not hardly trim for a year. I trimmed maybe maybe 3 times, but I was done. You know, I gave up. That's it. And that was in 2015 or 14, somewhere around there. And I trimmed him, took off the long pieces here and there, but I totally just had given up. And then in July of 2015, I said, well, this horse is doing nothing. I need to find him a home. So I brought him in and I took pictures of him. And then I thought, well, I'll take some pictures of his feet. And I mean, I was horrified at what they had grown into. Okay, because in a barefoot trim, you got to keep trimming it or it falls apart, you know. And so they'll turn into kind of a monstrosity looking thing, you know. And so I thought, oh my, well, I'm going to have to fix his feet if anybody's going to want him, you know. So then I started again. And then that's when I started growing his heels, not because I thought he needed heels, but because I thought his horn tubules were run forward and that I had to grow them out to get them to stand back up, you know. And thank God I then found out about the heel buttress and kept growing them, because I didn't do that with my pony, and that was like the last straw for her. Okay, so let me find. Let's see here. Okay, so this is kind of when I gave up. My horse's foot was like this, and it looked all kind of nice, but he wasn't very good on it.
So was he dead lame or just short strided and just tender footed?
Just short strided and tender footed.
Yeah. Same as every other horse that's barefoot with their heels cut out like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, and at some points he was worse than this. He had less foot than this, but okay, this is his foot now. Let's see. Totally different foot.
So is he supposed to have that?
What?
Is he supposed to have that like huge bulge at the heel bulb area then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay, so it's the cartilage and stuff that's got into proper position, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing too. See, I've been trimming his frog off, okay, so that the heels would continue to move back. Let me show you here. Okay. Okay, you see the frog down here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have been, all the time that this part has been growing, I've been trimming it clear down to here.
Okay.
Because the frog corium gets distorted and the heels were forward, you know, they've come back considerably, but you have to keep that open right there. You can't see. Okay. This is something we found out was very interesting. You can mistake what is periopal skin, which is right here and ends right here, and for frog skin, and it can all look the same. When it's all dried out, it's the same color and it all looks the same, but it's two totally different things. This is just a periopal band that covers the coronary band right here. It's only supposed to be that wide, but the frog starts growing here, and the frog actually connects to the heels and grows with the heels.
Oh, yeah?
And so when the foot isn't right and the heels are forward, you have to thin down this periopal skin. You see how the periopal skin here is clear down to here?
Yeah.
Over here, the periopal skin's clear up here. But this here is frog skin. And so this would grow frog that was this thick. Okay. Now, when the frog skin really gets strong and attaches to the heels here, it'll look like, oh, just a minute. It'll look like, okay. It'll look like this. See this frog is in the center from between the bulbs down here is 2 inches. The regular frog on the sides here would be 1 inch. Right from here to here is frog skin that's stuck to this horse's heel. Right here.
Wow. Okay.
Here's the periopal skin. Now this is a 3-year-old wild mare. And let me see if I can find a side view. Okay, this is the side view of that horse. See, now on my horse, he's got the same basic, this is a frog. See, this is your horse when you trim the heels out. See, it strips that frog stay out of the foot. This is the horse when he has heels and he's got that frog stay growing up between the bulbs. Right here.
Yeah.
And so, where is it? Well, where to go? Okay. So if I had not trimmed the frog way down here to the bottom of the collateral groove. Okay, now I haven't, now I've let it grow here last month or two. So it's stuck to the heels and grown there. See it? Right there?
Yeah.
But if I wouldn't have done that, it'd be stuck to the heel clear up to here.
And you don't want that then?
Well, no, you do want that, but that's what has been confusing people. They look at these wild horses and they say, oh, they have to have frog contact and they have low heels. Well, when you look at, which horse is this? Look at this horse here. If this wasn't off and all that, and we were just looking at the back of the foot, you would think this horse had a really low heel. See it right there?
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He has the same heel my horse has. Okay, but the frog skin is stuck to the heel all the way down to the ground.
So at what point do you allow the frog skin to grow?
Oh, well, I mean, you can see when the heel's trimmed out and the heels are pulled way down and under, we allow the frog to grow. We just don't allow it to attach to the end of the heel. Because if it does, it'll keep your foot from expanding. Because when your foot got compressed and that whole back of the bulbs got pulled under, then the frog grew from that position and it'll hold the foot right there. So we thin down the frog. I mean, we still let the frog grow. The only place, just a minute here. Oh, where are you? We just would trim it right down here in the sides of the collateral groove. See, right here on the side. You're still letting the frog grow. I mean, this frog is, just a minute here. This frog is really this thick. See the top of the frog there? I've only cut it out in here. So that the foot would continue to expand and release back here. And the distorted frog wasn't holding it under. and stuff. But if I wanted to keep going, I could trim this out right down into here. See?
So then when you're happy with the way the heels are, you will let the frog grow out, right?
Yeah, and it would all attach, it would all attach and be just like that wild horse's foot.
Yeah.
Let me see, go back. Hey, see this thick skin here? Now, really, if you look at the bottom of his heel, he's got a good base of support back here. You know, look how far back it is. A lot of horses, you see their heels are clear up here and stuff. Now, if this periopal and frog skin decided to attach, it would look just like that. You know, a lot of times you'll see that skin is it's dark, it's black, and it is totally welded to the back of these feet. Say.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's really hard at first because you're so used to looking at a barefoot that when his foot first did this, it looked really weird because then his heel was clear up here. But
oh, wow.
all of this had released and popped out the back, and I freaked out because I thought, oh my God, his heels ran forward. What happened? But it wasn't his heels. It was that internal anatomy. Finally, that frog stay that was growing up between those bulbs finally pushed it up and out and expanded the foot to what it was supposed to be.
Oh, wow. So if he was trimmed correctly from day one, he wouldn't necessarily have that huge bump at the back then, right?
Not quite like that.
Okay.
No. You know, but see, we look at that and we go, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
but in reality, that's healthy.
Okay, good.
See, all this cartilage up here is where it's supposed to be. This is being supported up off the ground. See, our minds have been perverted.
Yeah.
They have to a false foot, you know. No, this is healthy. Bulbs supported up off the ground. Look, even the horn tubules are growing at a pretty good, you know, angle. Look, the heel is not really run forward that much. But
How long do you anticipate that this took for you to go from the heels cut off to the point where you started to see the change in this type of thing?
4 years.
Yeah, I've been since 2016. Well, 2015 to now. But you'd have to see how bad the feet were, you know. And here's the thing too: we didn't really know where I was going, you know.
Right.
Other than that wild horse foot, those 2 wild horse feet I just showed you, I knew it had to be something like that. But it was a total surprise when the back of this foot popped out. You know, because I really had no idea it was that compressed under. See, and this here, I had that crack and it was always open. It's never open now. So you can imagine if that, I think another growth series, and I think all this is going to shift back a little bit more even. But anyway, just you got to start letting stuff grow and not over trim. You know, that was another thing with barefoot trimming. I think everybody turned into, not everybody maybe, a lot of people were chronic over trimmers.
Yeah, and it's very amazing that it is really so, it's always been taught to us that way. So it is quite different, but it makes sense, this.
Yep, every 4 weeks.
Every 4 weeks. Oh, they got it more now. Every 3 weeks. You know, every 3
Some
weeks.
people
That's,
don't even have any hoof to trim at 4 weeks.
yeah.
So they push
Yeah,
them out
there
to
isn't.
6.
You know, who could afford that? You know,
Well, when you count the cost of shoes and you figure you're going 8 weeks with shoes, if you go 4 weeks with trim and you do half the cost of shoeing, people pay it.
oh yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, see, and the thing is, your wall quality is always bad too, and the periopal's always like this, like just really very shabby looking, you know.
Yeah.
That's all part of the symptoms, I guess, or signs that you'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got little teeny tiny feet, hoof-bound feet. You
Yeah.
know, and that, like I said, I had the same thing.
But
And oh, go
yeah.
ahead. Well, another
Sorry.
I'll let you go.
Okay, thanks. So, but the back feet are a little bit better than the front feet, right? Because they have more of a heel, isn't it? Or is it? I'm not seeing that right.
Wow, they're so dry.
Yeah, very. It's winter here now, so that also
Yeah.
contributes quite a bit.
And so you have a trimmer that comes and trims your horse?
Yes. He comes every 2 to 3 weeks, depending
Okay.
on how much he grows.
Okay.
And if like it overgrows, then I'll try to do it myself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could do this without a grinder. I use a flat disc sanding grinder just to
To
touch
get up.
up. Just to touch up. But this horse just, some of what he needs is he just needs his feet left alone for
A little while.
a while.
Okay.
You know, you can see here though that bar has grown over this area right here.
Yeah.
I mean, but he just hasn't got any foot, you know, and it's so dry and cracked. And, you know, if you could make yourself a soaking station and soak his feet a couple times a week. And the way you can do that, huh?
Sorry, carry on.
Okay, the way you can do that is get some sort of plastic that doesn't leak, and then you take like you can take railroad ties or 4 boards, you know, and make a square and then lay that in there, and then if you can fill it with water and get them to stand in there, you know.
Yeah, the only thing is I'm waiting for his walls to seal up, otherwise the water will get right up and then cause problems, isn't it?
No,
Not.
it would actually be good for him.
Okay.
You know, it would loosen stuff up.
You'll probably
maybe.
see soil come out when you start to soak them.
Probably. You know, but the main thing is I would just let him grow for a while, you know.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks.
Yeah. What I would do is I wouldn't even look at his feet for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Okay? I would not even
Okay.
look at them. and then take pictures again, and then we'll start a process. You know,
Yeah.
see, because one of the things that happens too is that when the soul is so petrified and everything, the dead soul underneath it's going to be very thin soul. You
Yeah.
know, and while this bar is kind of over, this one is actually pretty thick and laying up over the side of the soul here, and very deep in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see, that's what I mean. Like, they say, oh, measure the depth of the collateral grooves for soul thickness.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in that. I mean, it can work, but I don't really think so, because this horse really ain't got no soul. And look how deep the collateral grooves are.
Yeah.
Because the foot is bent. You know, so when you bend something, the underside gets sucked up, right?
Yes.
But you got to remember, this is just a shell, and then he's got a foot in there that's being compressed and bent. That's going to be and see all that yellow stuff. See how yellow the soul is?
Yeah, very.
Yeah. You know, something you might start doing though is just trying to take this over some and get it off of that part of the
So
foot.
by taking a hoof knife and some scaling it.
Yeah, just kind of following it over so you get, see, because I bet once you get under here, you're going to see nothing but dirt.
Yeah, I actually did that after I took the photos.
Oh, okay.
I did it a little bit, yeah.
It's
just to get off some of
hard,
the
isn't it?
loose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, the whole thing looks petrified,
Yeah, it was very hard.
you know? And so that prohibits growth as well.
Oh, okay.
See? And now when the foot is trimmed out and the heels, what happens is the heels get trimmed out, and then the bar wall and the side wall merge together to form a false heel. So you have a false heel here.
Yeah.
And then it pulls the frog wide. See how it's pulled that over like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these feet just need to grow, but they also need to kind of be slowly cleaned up a bit.
Okay.
You know, and anyway, that's all I got for you for right now.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's really insightful.
Well, I wish I could help you more. Like, I wish
No,
I
well.
could get my hands on that foot.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I would just clean it up just a little bit, just kind of open things up a little bit, and then let it grow.
Okay. Well, I'll try doing that.
Okay. Yep. Well,
okay.
Well, we're glad
thank you
you're
very
here with
much.
us.
Yeah, thank you. It was really, really nice.
Well, hey, get some sleep.
Thanks, yeah.
Where are you at in South Africa?
Gauteng.
Okay. Where's that from Welcome?
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's quite a few hours away.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend in Welcome.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. Well, very nice talking to you, and we'll be talking to you again.
And thank you, and I really appreciate you having a look at his hoofs for me.
Well, you're sure welcome.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So does anybody else have anything they want to do? Look at? Oh, Tammy, are you still here with the Y? probably sleeping.
I'm still here
Oh, where are those pictures at?
on Facebook mentor page.
Okay. Oh, duh. Where am I at?
I just want to ask one more thing. Are you going to record this whole thing and post it on the forum?
Yeah, it's being recorded and I'll post it on the
Okay, great.
Well, it'll
Thanks.
be posted on that video page.
Okay.
Let's see here. Ah, right up. It does look like the feet are changing. Now, what am I supposed to look at exactly?
Okay, on June the 11th was the top row, that foot,
Uh-huh.
because I'd been working on the right-hand foot, and so he wouldn't want to stand on that one for very long. So this one started, see, it looks like it was dropping or in the sole, see?
Uh-huh.
And it was freaking me out. So, you know, Lacey Lynn was talking about the scoops, and so I thought, well, you know, my foot was kind of, I just went ahead and scooped it. And then I think that was maybe June 14th on the second row.
Uh-huh.
And then today I tried to, you know, see if he would let me check it out. And I mean, he would just let me have it for just a few seconds. You can see I just kind of scratched on it there, and I could see some stuff was turning white.
Is this
And I got
in
to
here?
scrub the toe out a little bit. And then he just was like, nope, that's enough. I got the picture. And you can see how long the toe got. So I think it pulled up. So I'm like, well, I can't trim it off anyway because he won't give me the foot, but it looks like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, leave it alone, huh?
Yeah, well, his foot looks like it's getting longer. It'd be nice if let's see. Is this it now?
That was on the 14th, and it basically kind of looks like that still.
Okay.
And that's why I thought, oh, I need to take that toe down or off or back, whatever you want to call it. But and when I saw all that wall, I was shocked.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me in a long time, to see that much wall.
Well, see, that's good. That means something happened to where his foot started to grow.
Yeah.
You know.
And then there's his front leg. Of course, I didn't get his head. I was just looking at the angles of the front limb and the back limb.
Uh-huh. So,
but anyway,
what about the other foot? What's going on with it?
It's getting it's still kind of like you can see it right there on the right hand side.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole hoof capsule is shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And the back of the foot is expanding out. I mean, he's folding that leg out forward. He's not swinging it in. His shoulder's not swollen up anymore. It's really getting better, but he's still sore on it because I had taken the bars down and I had to take a lot of frog out. You remember you were talking just a while ago about the frog being attached to the back of the foot?
Yeah.
I found an attachment of that frog like an inch inward. Instead of it being on the back of the heel, it's like the heel grew over it and it was pulled up tight up in there. It was inside the heel.
Okay.
The under the bar, kind of like.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I had to detach that, and it's just still expanding, and his bars still have to drop down some more.
Okay.
And I have a boot on that one foot because to me it's like causing him to be misaligned in the shoulders because that right foot capsule is smaller and shorter, and then this one's taller, and so it's just making him like lopsided. So I have one boot on him, and I have him in the stall. I mean, it's a paddock. It's a big area, but it's under the barn.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say this too. This foot on the left, and well, I guess you might say both of them. They just seem like they were trying to still go into like mechanical laminitis, like pulling the toe forward. And he would do well. I'd keep him in the barn for, a few days, and he would start doing well. And I'd say, okay, I'm going to put you back outside. And I would put him back outside. And he'd come in and he'd be like, oh, my feet hurt. And you're out there on pretty soft ground most of the time. So, but I got to, really, because I'm always looking at the muscles. So when they're eating, they're using those muscles that pull them forward and put them really on their forehand. And so I think a lot of that too is those are the muscles that are pulling them forward. And I think that's helping to, when they're grazing, they're got all their weight on their forehand. And so it's pulling that hoof forward more,
Yeah.
So that's why I have him stuck up in the barn right now for a couple of days.
Okay.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Well, it is interesting how much wall has grown.
Yeah,
because wait a minute.
Okay.
Is it how much wall has grown, or did some sole fall out?
Well, that's what we want to know, because look at the top photo.
Yep.
See all that I guess you'll call it impacted sole or whatever.
Yep.
See, that's why I kept trying to get a hold of that foot, because I wanted to get that out. And it was so hard, I couldn't, it hurts to get it out,
Yeah. Well, it looks like it came out.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
That is what happened.
Okay.
Look at even the line of the toe is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like pretty.
I didn't get to scrape all of it. I didn't, because he took his food away.
Well, and what you want to do is, you want to use a flat part of your knife, but I think you're getting pretty close to the live sole there. And what you just want to do is start coming up here and just barely coming into the wall and defining that area instead of gouging the sole out.
Okay.
No more gouging.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I've done that to look to see.
I know, but
where
you
I'm
got
at.
real sole there now. That's not retained sole. That's not retained sole. That's real sole.
Okay.
And stuff. So you're down to real sole now. So if you gouge it too much, you'll make him sore. You'll gouge into. You might gouge into sensitive sole.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
I'm gonna put that video back on, and don't take out as much sole as I did there, but learn how to get up in here and define around the wall here, just barely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I may be trying too hard.
Yeah, just
but I did
video a couple times.
All that stuff came out by itself, really.
Did it?
Yeah.
So you still got some loose sole in there, in other words.
Yeah, all I did was scrape in there around that bar,
Okay.
to see where I was at.
Okay.
And then he took it away from me.
Okay.
Well, thanks.
Well, thanks for sharing. It's interesting. I see his changes in his feet. I see him getting bigger.
Well, he needed some bigger feet. He's a big old horse.
Yeah. Yeah, I see him expanding out some.
Oh yeah, those I need to post the updates on that other foot later.
Okay.
But because it's grown so much in the back, it's unbelievable.
Good.
And he's getting frog stays on his rear feet.
Uh-huh.
too. Yeah.
Good deal.
Good.
Good
Okay.
things happening.
Yeah, for all of us, slow but sure.
Yep. Can't find my microphone.
Well, you're doing good, Tammy, and you're really sticking with it. I'll tell you.
Well, after I finally started trying to do what you told me to.
Hey, I have a hard time doing what I tell people.
Okay, well, thanks.
Okay, dear. Hey, does anybody else have anything? You're just gonna hear somebody's doing something. They're making dinner or something. I don't know what they're doing. Let's see. There's me. I'll find out who it is.
I am sorry, it was me. I thought I was muted. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Cooking. I went to get food.
It sounded like food.
Sorry.
Just made me hungry, that's all. And stuff. Bonnie, are you there?
I am.
How did you do on that other foot?
I don't think I did as well as when you were giving me instruction, but I definitely did better than I normally do. And I wanted to tell you that I don't know if it's just me or if it is true, but she seemed to have more pep in her step today.
Good.
And she seemed to stretch out her front feet. Instead of making little steps, she was making more of an extended step. And when I had them go down in the meadow to eat today, she's normally the last one that makes it down there because she doesn't run as fast as the other two. But today she was right behind them and actually slid to a stop.
Wow.
I've never seen her do that before ever. And gave a little buck. So I think she prefers what I did this time than what I normally do. And I really do think it's leaving buttress in the back and leaving sidewall and taking the leverage off the toe and the pillar.
Yeah.
But not taking it down to where, like you said, where she's having to put all the weight on the sensitive part of her feet.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, see, you would know because like all of us, we notice everything about these horses, how they act and, everything like that. So that's a big change.
Yes. So during when you were doing the beginning of this, I did her back feet.
Oh, good.
So we'll see how she is in the morning. And the back feet are a little bit different than the front feet. So I just did the best I could without your guidance.
Okay, that's cool.
But I do have a question.
Yeah.
On the side that I am seeing now, I tend to rasp more on one side than the other. So, but my question is, she also has flares on that side.
Yeah.
So is it I'm really trimming one lower than the other, or is it the flare making one side look longer when it's not?
Probably both.
Because if the foot is flaring out, it's kind of like that run forward heel, right? Where it measures the same, but it looks longer because instead of being up and down, it's out.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
So it would actually be lower.
Okay. So am I needing to take that down more or leave it alone?
No, you would if you were going to take anything down lower, it would be the other side.
Side that's more up.
Yeah, because the one side you're talking about looks higher when you got the foot picked up.
Yes.
But when you set the foot down,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I don't know how to explain.
Right.
Okay.
No, it makes sense because that's where the little hook or scoop, where it looked like.
Yeah. And what
That's
I
it.
started doing was just taking the other heel down, the upright heel down a little more.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it shifted my whole foot, you know, because I would never take that side down. Because
Okay.
that side, because if you notice, that side is always full in the sole, but the other side will be kind of concave and not as full.
Yes.
And stuff. And so what I started, when I finally took that side down a little more and took out a little bit of that sole, you know, just to get things moving, it helped both sides. In fact, that side widened out a little. See,
Okay.
because on my horse's feet, the one side had flared out, but the inside had kind of sucked up and gotten kind of stiff and thick.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
And so when I went ahead finally and thinned the sole just a hair and took that heel down a little more, it kind of helped the whole foot shift a little bit.
Okay. It's making a little bit of sense, but I think I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
For it to come together.
Yeah, we'll go over that deal again. I mean, we've gone over it before where you got one bulb higher than the other and one heel pulled forward.
Right.
And yeah.
Well, she was definitely walking a lot better today. She was even cantering, which she doesn't normally like to do.
Uh-huh.
So,
see, that's good.
Yes.
That is good.
She just seemed less lazy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense because it's not that she's lazy, but it'd be like if I made you grow your fingernails long and then I want you to dig a hole in the ground with your hands.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
you know,
that makes sense.
I really do believe that excess hoof wall in front bothers them.
Yes.
You know, because it's like pulling all the time. Every time they break over.
Right.
You know, in the toe, there's pressure.
Right. Yeah. But she definitely was really good today. So
good. Well, that's great. Great. I'm glad to hear that good news. And you would know because you pay attention to every little thing about them. The dream team.
Oh, yes, I do. Ask my husband.
Yep. Us horse moms, we know our kids.
This is true. Well, thank you so much, though. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed helping you that day.
Well, it was definitely very good.
Well, we'll do it again.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Look forward to it.
Awesome. Okay, does anybody else have anything? No. Okay. Well, then I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Good night, Ann. Good night, Bonnie. Good night, Sherry. Good night, Diane. Good night, Jolie.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Keara.
Thank you.
Good night, Louisa. Marilyn, good night. Mary Carol, you're the best. Randolph, hello. And Tammy with the Y. You're all wonderful people. Have a great week. Happy trimming.
Thank you.
Okay, bye everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
everybody.
All right.